when the NFL redid their player discipline, they said coaches and front office people will be held to a higher standard than players. And that's sort of what's exactly being played out here. And what's really interesting is if you read between the tea leaves, there's some sound we want to play for you here.
This is fantastic. And going back in time a little bit. Yeah.
This is from the London series between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And this was Alex Cora talking about Carlos Beltran, who at that point, was not the manager of the Mets, who, by the way, we're not sure how long he's going to be the manager of the Mets. He was a special advisor for the Yankees at the time. And Alex Cora, again, they were together in Houston in 2017. And in Major League Baseball's report, Beltran apparently was the first guy who thought about this, and then Cora started helping them implement it. So I want you to listen to Alex Cora talking about what Carlos Beltran was bringing to the Yankees.
I was joking with somebody that their biggest free agent acquisition is Carlos Beltran. I know how it works, he's helping a lot. They're paying attention to details, and we have to clean our details.
Okay. There's a wink there that he looks at as Carlos Beltran.
I mean, he's just trying to talk around everything. Yeah. I mean, it's like one of those things you don't know it, but then when you know the parameters and then you go back and you listen to it, you're like,
I get it.
Okay, yeah.
He knows all the details.
All the gathering of the information.
And we have to clean our details. Is pretty clear. Like, he knows how we do this now, so we need to change how we're doing it because he was part of how we did it with the Houston Astros. By the way, the other part of this, which was somewhat hilarious yesterday, as we were coming off the air yesterday, our great Chuck Salaturo sent us an email, and there was a line from last October when someone asked A.J. Hinch, the Astros general manager, about the sign stealing. He said, it's a joke, man. I'm glad you brought that up. This is a joke. And, of course, now in the Major League Baseball report, he admitted he knew it all along and tried several times to damage the TV monitor that was allowing it to happen in Houston.
Yeah, not nearly as funny a joke now with all this one, but
by the way, it also wasn't a joke; it was actually true.
Yeah, it was actually true in all this, and so that becomes interesting looking at it from the managerial side now because we're seeing these punishments get levied down and trying to figure out what's enough at this point in all of this and for whom, because this was not like Rob Manfred came out when we talked about the going back to the Apple Watch incident that was involved in the Red Sox dugout. Came out and said, from now on, now that we've seen something like this, the punishments going forward are going to be more severe. We're going to take anyone who violates in this realm from now on and punish them more severely. And yet in this instance, it was really started by Jim Crane as much as anyone as far as bringing down real meaningful punishments, letting Lunau and A.J. Hinch, or I shouldn't say letting them go, firing them in this instance, which really set the precedent then for what the Red Sox had to do.
Obviously a huge difference with Boston because it was mutually agreed upon. For the
Right.
So there's really a couple of more questions to go. We know what has happened. It's going to be Carlos Beltran. Is he going to be around? And then at some point we're going to get into the player aspect of this
you
thing.
brought this up, and that is fascinating.
Yeah.
We're going to do that in just a little bit.
Let me just say, people are probably not going to like me today.
But I don't think you're being dishonest about it.
I'm going to be completely honest about how I would have handled
how a
this.
lot of people probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Beltran. Beltran was part of this as a player. Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred said, we are not going to discipline players because, and Carl Ravitch explained it perfectly, how you really can't go down that road and how the union would
real
fight
quickly, it would go through the union, and union would want an explanation on each individual player, how much they were involved or not involved, and they just didn't want that mess.
So really, it now comes down to what the Mets are going to do. And I thought Jeff Passan did a great job explaining the options for the Mets. They're all terrible.
Yeah. It was a fait accompli that he was going to lose his job with the Red Sox.
Wrong one. Here we go.
The options for the Mets are not great right now because even though Carlos Beltran was not disciplined by Major League Baseball, he was named in Rob Manfred's memo that he put out. He was the only player who was named in there, and I think he was named because he is currently a manager of one of the jewel franchises of Major League Baseball. So the Mets' choice is either we keep somebody who is in a historic memo with epic cheating that we have never seen in baseball before, Or we get rid of the manager that we hired this offseason a month before the regular season begins and compete with two potentially superior franchises in the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox for the open managerial pool out there. Neither of those is a particularly good option for the Mets to have, and yet that's what they're facing right now. Are they going to be the team that holds on to the manager who was in Rob Manfred's memo?
Yes or no? Do you think he keeps his job?
I don't think he keeps his job. I think it's a great question. Again, at Golic and Wingo out there, should he? Will he? Everybody will have an opinion on if he should or not, but will he? I have a hard time believing he will. Take away the suspensions and all that the manager got in Houston and was going to get, Alex Cora still going to get, and just say, you're involved in this. Alex Cora, you're involved, even though A.J. Hinch said I didn't participate, but I knew it was going on and I didn't do enough to stop it. And now Carlos Beltran, it's laid right out there how involved he was in this. So are the Mets all of a sudden going to say, well, our guy isn't getting disciplined by Major League Baseball, so we're cool with everything and we're just going to go on as like nothing happened? I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, I think the Mets are in the easiest spot in all this because you're still at the beginning. He hasn't managed a game for you. You don't have some long-standing relationship. You were trying to start fresh. And I think the last thing you want to do is start fresh with this cloud over your head and the association that this is going to bring if you keep him on.
So look, here's what we've got: the Houston Astros, the Boston Red Sox, and we all believe, because I'm with you, that the New York Mets are going to have to go through a major rebuild.
Right.
We're basically a month away from pitchers and catchers starting.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.